We're on number 49 of the 48 ways. 48 ways, and we're on number 49 of the 48 ways. That's how come you got 49 if there are 48 ways? Well, there's 50. That doesn't solve anything. How do you get 50 of the 48 ways? Yeah. So the answer is, you see, that this is the part of Torah, the part of the instructions for living, which was transmitted orally from rabbi to student for a couple of thousand years. Finally, it was written down about 2,000 years ago by Rabbi HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda HaNossi. He was the first one to write it down. Then it was transcribed by scribes. 2,000 years, people copied it. Now, our Torah, the 5 books of Moses, it's one of the proofs of Torah from Sinai that there are so few mistakes. I mean, who can put up a system that literally all over the world we're in Taman and Yemen, and we were in the Caucasus of Russia, and we were in China too, and the Sifrei Torah, the scrolls of the Torah, are exactly the same. The differences of the writings are in 1 letter, 2 letters. You don't have, maybe there's 5 words that are in dispute. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. How can you do that? But the Mishnah wasn't done that way. So therefore, mistakes of scribes have come in. So it's printed in the Priya books. Look up after the afternoon service of Shabbat. There is Pirkei Avot. Let this be your introduction. It's a powerful book. Now, it says there are 48 ways that you have to master in order to acquire wisdom, which means to appreciate what life is about. And these are they. And there's a list. But if you go and count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get up to 50. No. So I go, 50. Now you got to explain these mistakes. What is the mistake? Where is it? And one of these obvious explanations is that we have 2 of the 48 ways is awe and fear. Emo uviyiro. Now, if you know something about Judaism, we have a commandment to fear God, which includes awe and fear. So, to see God is to fear the consequences. You're afraid of getting sick? See the consequences. And awe. See His power. Who are we? So it's 2 aspects of the same thing. Now the scribe put it, Emo uviyira, instead of saying 1. Biyira, which would include both. Right? Now which others are candidates for being 1 that's explained in more detail? So I have a few ideas of my own, and I can share it with you. One of them that I think is Banova, humility is the 7th, and Eina Mafsik Tov Latzmo, he doesn't pat himself on the back, which is an aspect of humility, is number 29. So how did it get so separated? But why should it be 2 different things? Really, it's one and the same thing. Well, we can have a long, learned discussion as to how come there are 50 of the 48 ways, but we will treat them as 50 of the 48 ways. All right, at any rate, we're on number 49 of the 48 ways. And it reads, Mechaven eshmu oto. Mechaven means to organize. Eshmuato is what he knows. Organizing. Now, what do you mean by organize? So, mechaven in Hebrew is not only to organize, but organize, controls, and directs. And it's really one thing. Your knowledge should be yours for the use. Now, all of us have learned an awful lot about living. You've been 20 years around, 25 years. You learned something in Paris, you learned something in New York, you learned something in school, you learned you got to study the beginning of the term, you learned that don't insult people, you can get a punch in the nose, you learn a lot of things. You got to have patience. You learned a lot of things, but it's all submission. Problem is, how are you going to use it? So, in Judaism we say, you see, that wisdom is much more than money. At the same time, money makes us real. So, for instance, if you open the bank, and you get a lot of depositors. Today there's a big problem getting depositors in a bank. You have a gimmick, you give them a little Pac-Man set, whatever it is, everybody's coming in, they want to get this, and you've got deposits $100 million the first day deposits. Great news, right? So, of course, what are you going to do with the money? Make sure every bit of that money is counted, deposited in the vault, right? Now, everybody, of course, gets a receipt. You keep a record, yeah? Now, you have $100 million on deposit, you got to pay him 5% interest, 7%, right? You can get 15% prime. That dates the tape, right? It's a very special period in August. The prime rate went down to 15%. August 82. Remember that date. You're not likely to see it again. Okay, fine. Paying deposit is 7. Boy, you're in business. Now you'll quickly go out and loan the money out at 1 above prime. 16. Boy, you're making a lot of money. Yeah. Of course, each loan, you have a record. When the payment is due, etc. Yeah? Now what do you do with all these records? All on slips of papers. You put it in another vault. Yeah? You get the idea? You have all these records, and they're all in a vault. Only one thing, you didn't organize it. How long do you stay in business? You're a shambles. You're a shambles. They'll taunt you away to the insane asylum. The guy comes in, I want to withdraw my money. One moment, close down the whole bank. Let's see. What's your name? Go to another. Where is it? What? I think I recall seeing it somewhere. For goodness sake, you're a wreck. I mean, you're a nervous wreck, you're dead. Is that right? Now, what do you do with your wisdom? You write down a little note, you put it in your head. It's in the vault. I remember it, right? Another one. In the vault. I remember it, yeah. Now, what do you know about life? Tell me. What did you learn 20 years? What do you know about life? Pretty unsettling. Do you see that? Very bad news. Look, even a grocery store man, he buys all this stuff and he puts it in a jumble. It'll go nuts. Yeah? He organizes the peas, the vegetables in one bin. You understand? Otherwise you go nuts. For living, you're learning a lot about life every day. You better organize it. Otherwise, you'll just give up in the end. Roman numeral 1 is how to organize and the power of organization. I want to show you the power of organization and how to organize. And number 1 of this is actually, and it's an assignment, write down, sit down after the class and ask yourself, listen, I've lived 20 years, it's about time I figured out, what did I learn about living? About living, what's important, what's life about? With no sense of organization, just try to write down the different things that you, on a piece of paper, and you'll see how difficult. I want you to feel how you feel so darn frustrated. It's important that you get this, that you suffer your mistakes. Then you will appreciate the power of a way. You got to try it. 5 minutes. That's the assignment. Number 2 is, now, organization to the rescue. So how is the simple organization? There's me, you, and me and God, right? Simple organization. Now, what do you know about yourself? How do I relate to myself? Can I do? What do I want? You know, it brings things up. Like this, what do I know about life? You can start moving. How about me and your friends? Me and my society? Personal relations. Me and my parents. Me and my siblings. Me and strangers. Me and society. What do you know? You owe society? You're afraid of society? Society is crazy? Society is brainwashed? Yeah. It starts bringing things up. Organization, simple organization, comes to the rescue. Do you see that? Me and God. What are my obligations? What do I know about God? Truth. Good. I want to be good. Brings things up. Just the simple concept of organization. But number 3 is the more powerful, the more detailed organization, the more power you got. Me and myself. Let's organize. What are the different areas of myself? My desires, my wants. What's the difference with desires and wants? You know, what I feel like doing and what I want to accomplish, right? My talents, accomplishments. You see? Now, let's discuss. What do you feel like having in this world? Well, I feel like having a good time, relaxing. I like Coca-Cola. I like, of course, like girls, right? But it starts coming up. And what do you want out of life? Well, I want truth. I want accomplishments. I want to be a good person. Do you see how just a little more detailed organization, and you're zooming in a lot more, it opens up. Still a little murky-durky, yeah, but it's surfacing. All right, number 4 is more refined. What virtues do people have? You can have courage, you can love humanity, be kind, you can be intelligent, you can be consistent, you can be disciplined, right? Are you disciplined? Are you consistent? Are you? Now you're really making a study of this, right? But a little more refined organization. Think of all the virtues that begin with A. Alert, aware, attentive, appreciative. As you follow? Well, bung, bung. Just a little bit of organization. Bing, 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 bing. Now, which are you? Are you alert? No. Attentive? Sometimes. Aware? Now you can check out. That's the power of organization. See it. It's got a powerful impact. Powerful. Number 5 is, the point is to use this power to get and to keep what you learn. And when something comes your way, put it into your organization, file it so that you know it's in safekeeping. You can recall it, you can take it out of the file whenever you need it. Okay. Number 6 is, see, first you got to define it. What did you learn? So if you learned, you had an essay, you had a class, so you put down all the points that you learned and then organize it. In Israel, the people are like this. The scenery is like this. Their philosophy of life is like this. Yeah? And you organize it in the categories. That's Israel. That was my visit to Israel. Read a book. This is what the man had to say. This is no good. This is good. I got 10 points out of it, and this is the way the points go. Then you're using organization in the process of living. You'll be aware of how you're growing day to day. B of number 6 is that if you can get it into a story form, you see there's an organization within an organization, that it's a logical flow, or it is a flow that you have given yourself, like the ABCs, right? Like the logical flow is, the most important thing is the people. Never mind the weather, never mind the beauty, the people. The most important thing about the people is their concepts of life. So once you have a logical flow and you put it into like a story form, then it will be yours forever. Israel will immediately bring you, this is what I learned, this is where I saw it, this is how I see it. Ding, 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 ding. A printout, solid, because it's got a flow. So if you get the 48 ways, for instance, if you understand why the first one is this and the second is this, then it'll be much easier to remember. You can memorize it by simply bang, 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 saying it again and again and again. Or you can memorize it by seeing the flow. You can memorize the bones in the body by actually, memorizing each and every name, or you can list it according to the alphabet, or you can go from the toe bone is connected to the shin bone, is connected to the thumb bone, and you go up. So one brings the other. All right, number 7 is, if there is organization in what you're studying, pay attention to it. That's already there. So therefore, when you're going back to college, if you finish college, when you're studying a manual, you're in a business, you're reading a child's guidance book, wait until you have kids, you'll read plenty of books, yeah? So whatever you do, you know what you should read first? Read through the table of contents and try to understand, what do you think the guy is going to say? Pay attention to it. See the connection. It's worth the extra half an hour. It doesn't take that much. Make a study of the table of contents. But anybody who will take the trouble to read Maimonides' table of contents, and he took the trouble to make a table of contents. 14 books organized into 83 Hilchot, into 613 commandments. That's Judaism. You will understand Judaism altogether different. And you will see the connection is powerful. It's genius, the way one leads into the other. And that will remain for you forever. Number 8 is, that there is a deeper way that we Jews use, this is Jewish consciousness, in organizing information. And that is, make a table of contents. You write the table of contents. And what does that mean? Give a name. In Torah, all the names are descriptions. 1 word, 2 words. The 48 ways is a table of contents. The 48 ways are defined essences. By knowing how to analyze, you got what, how, why. You can have an hour-and-a-half lecture on one of them. You got to put together some information from outside, some from here. But this is a table of contents. 48 ways. That turn into 4950, right? Yeah. So in Judaism, we teach you. In the yeshiva here, we make an emphasis that if you learn the Bible, each paragraph, give it your name, what's being said here, and you will find that the Torah is infinitely more understandable and manageable than you ever dreamt. If you just read on, it's a lot of information. You've got to read it a few times to get a little familiarity. Give each one a heading, a table of content, and you focus right in. Zang. But that means that you're organizing this material to give an essence. Do you see that? It's an automatic process of organization. Because you got to ask, what is this chapter different than the next chapter? What separates them? And that ties up all your information together. So if you're reading a biology book, or a child's guidance book, or how to get rich quick book, right? You ever read one of those books? How to get rich quick? Make a lot of money? No? What's the matter with you guys? A lot of money. Yeah. You read first his table of contents, forget it. Don't forget it. That's one set. You give your own chapter headings. History book, what did the guy say? Child's guidance, what did the guy say? You do your defining, your essence. Then you're focusing, you're taking it apart, you're analyzing it, putting the point on it, and you'll know whether you want to buy it or don't want to buy it. I mean, I'm not telling you to buy what he says, yeah? But at least you know what you read. You'll have a set. Makes learning infinitely easier. Number 9 is that you should organize for yourself, at least organize for living. Put together now, what do you know about marriage? You're going to get married someday. Don't start studying and put together after the wedding. Ooh, what do I know about women? What do I know about marriage? Ooh. No. Now, start your filing cabinet. Yeah. You got any information? You see anything? You read a book? Put it in there. You're going to live. And I would strongly urge you, and anybody here who has children will verify it, start your filing cabinet and how to bring up children and how to keep them happy and how to deal with them, right? They should do it now, right? Tell them. Now. Yeah. Do it now. And learning on the job is not the best way. In Judaism we say that's why the firstborn gets, I don't know if it's a joke or whatever it is, but they say, why does the firstborn get a double portion? Because he gets a double portion of mistakes. Right? Tell him. We learn on the job. So the firstborn, he was the first one. Too much discipline, too little discipline. Kick him, bite him, love him. You don't know. What do you do with the kid? Yeah. Well, all the mistakes on us. So loose with my kid brother. They gave him his bicycle without no fighting, right? And the same thing goes, you're going to business, talking to people. What is important for you for living? How to communicate with people, how to deal with people. Make a filing cabinet. Don't just leave it. It's important to you. Have this filing cabinet, memorize the content, whatever it is, but get it in hand. Don't just wait for inspiration or on-the-job learning helter-skelter. So number 10 is that I want to focus your attention that isolated pieces of wisdom frustrate you, depress you, discourage you, and ultimately make you give up. You say, I've heard a lot of pieces of wisdom in my life. This one is great. I'm going to forget it like everything else I know. So don't let that happen. You're giving up. And what's the use? You're going to hear, you're going to get insights, and you figure you're going to forget this one too. It takes you out of this optimism and this desire to really grow and to change and to make your way up. So always take what you learn and file it away into your filing cabinet. Once you have a filing cabinet, until you're good at it, it should be done at the end of the day. Because you're not going to do it on the spot. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, what 10 pieces of wisdom that I learned today? Most important. When you're really professional, on the spot, file, right away. What did I learn about getting up? What did I learn about eating? What did I learn about meeting people? What did I learn about using my time? What did I learn? And put it into your filing cabinets. Number 11 is that inasmuch as we've had bad habits in the past, you've gotten this bank, you have all these slips, all these deposits, all these loans, and all these withdrawal deposit slips and all the payment slips, and they're all in this chaos. Take a bank holiday, 3 weeks. You can't afford 3 weeks. 1 week, 1 hour. Sort out your deposit. Organize it now. Assignment is write down what you know about life. Use organization to figure out at least what do I know about myself, what do I know about what I want out of life, what do I know, what is pleasure, what are my talents, what are my virtues. Use ABCs as much as you want, then organize it for living. Make yourself your index card. What are the most important priorities? Organize your head, because as long as that head is this mix-up, do you feel that mix-up in your head? Do you feel the chaos up there of your knowledge? It's not good. And be of this process of organizing it, evaluate it. You got a lot of clunkers in there. Bad loans, settle for 10% on the dollar, but get rid of them. Yeah. The rotten apples are disturbing your digestion. When you look at them, ooh, this has been festering. Out. Delete. You know, on the computer you have a delete button. Delete. Now, if you focus and you say, here I am, what I want is social approval. I don't even know why I'm going to college. I just want a social approval. This is no good. I got to find out why I'm going to college. You notice it. But you're not making a decision. I don't give a hang what people think of me. I want to figure out what I want out of life. This is a terrible concept that I'm living for public approval, which is an illusion. Delete this, then it's gone. But it takes that act of will and that act of decision. You're going to have a healthy life, a healthy head, a healthy attitude towards living. So, some things you doubt, that's all right. I have no basis for it. You know there is no God. You know that you want to be good. You don't have a definition for good. That's all right. Update it. Put it into the file for further verification. Yeah. I know I'm a good man. On what basis? That's all right. Keep it around. Yeah, I'm a good man. Right. What? Why? Well, I'll figure it out. That's okay. You figure it out. But remember, put it on file. Got to figure it out. Verify. Am I a good man or not? First, I got to get a definition. Okay, number 12. One more in organize is that in Judaism we say organize your time. What are you going to do today? So what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? What is your 70-year plan? What do you want on your tombstone? Organize your life. Know where you're going. That's very powerful, very painful, but you can just feel the power that it gives you. What do I, all right, now I'm preoccupied. I got to graduate. I got to get my BA. I got to get my MA. Got to get my PhD. I got to get my first job. Got to get the girl to marry. I have to have my children. Got to get my pool and cars. But in each stage, you're going to be preoccupied with this stage. And then when you get it, you say, what did I do this for? That's universal. It's wrong. But plan it to the end. BA, MA, 70 years. Where you're going to be buried. And what do you want on your tombstone? Organize how you're going to get there. This is called organizing living. Of course, that includes organizing day to day. What are you going to do a whole day? All right, that was Roman numeral 1 and organizing. Roman numeral 2 is to organize is in order to control, so that you can have it. So number 1 of control is remember. You're not going to control it unless you remember. So how do you remember things? You know, we have 2 little gadgets up here. One of them is a remember button, and the other is forget. Did you ever get a telephone number? You say, sure, I'll remember, and 1 minute later you can't remember. Happened, yeah? You pressed forget instead of remember. But when the pretty girl says, this is my telephone number, oh, yes, sorry. You mean it only has 75 digits? Yeah. It's okay. No problem. Zong. You press remember and you press it hard. Zing. Okay, so the idea is make sure that you press remember, that you decide, this is important, I want to remember this, I'm going to keep it. We have that power. When we listen to wisdom, you listen to things here, right? You're letting it go in, letting it go out, and then you walk out and you say, there was some fascinating things said there, I think. And what was the way? It had something to do with joining an organization. We bystanders. No. Press. Remember. Hey, this is important. Remember. Important. Remember. Then you got it in the vault. Then you can organize it. Yeah. But if it's not there, it's not in the vault. Where was I this morning? Let's see. Where was I this morning? Well, I knew it was a very important place. Not a way of living. So remember to press that button. Number 2 is take the trouble and the effort to memorize indexes. But to memorize the index in order to control it. It'll make it permanent. We memorize 10 points every night, 10 things that I learned today. Yeah? Even though you're going to forget it tomorrow. But you fixed it. By memorizing it, even for the short term, for a day, this is what I did on Sunday that was important. You're fixing it into your vault. Yeah.
Why do you want to fix it there if you can't get it out again?
The question is asked, why remember when there's so much I know that I don't use now? There's a lot that you know you do use now. We have this computer that's somehow wild associations. Wild. You can't put your finger on it, yeah, but talking to people, some days a lot comes out, some days a little blooper comes out, yeah? But if it's there, then the computer, this little thing, so as you use it, it comes out, it calls up, it changes your behavior without your even being aware of it. It's not the best way, but at least it's there. You're right, the best way is to have it in an index that you can actually look it up.
I understand, but you can't remember everything.
You do remember everything. Under hypnosis, it comes out. You do remember everything. This is a fantastic little instrument we carry around. Yeah? So, but if you put it into this remember theme, it has this vividness, yeah, that it gets into effect, it gets into use more often. That's why. And if you memorize your indexes for the day, then it sort of gets it a little more into your real life living patterns. Okay, number 3 is realize that out of sight, out of mind. You can know the most marvelous things in the world. You've got to start studying at the beginning of the term. You know that thoroughly well. You remember the last final, yeah? You got to start studying at the beginning of the term, yeah? And it aches in every bone. Out of sight, out of mind. Beginning of next term, you forgot about it. Obvious. So what do? Jewish consciousness is review what you know. The content of your filing cabinet. Bring it into sight. Number 4 is especially review crucial points. Crucial points. What are you living for? Love humanity, love God. There is a God. There is such a place like heaven and hell, or it's something to investigate. You got to know how to make a marriage work. These are important points that you have to review constantly, day in and day out, because insight in mind. You'll live this way. You will if you pay attention. Roman numeral 3 is the idea of all of this, of course. The how is to direct your information. So what do you mean direct? Mechaven is the hege. In Hebrew is to direct your steering wheel, How do you mean direct it? So number one, how do you go about directing it? Go through what you know, go through what you learned about life, list your priorities. That's taking your information and what is the top priority for you. What's the top priority? Success? To love people? To help people? This is what counts. That's directing all your information. This is the point. What are you going to live with? Number 2 is that keep your priorities up front. Every human being in this room, a shocker, is willing to die to be good, to do the right thing. We just don't know which is the right thing. But I'll focus you. There isn't a human being in this room that could possibly kill 5,000 innocent children to save his life. Will anybody say that I could do it? You wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to fulfill it because it's wrong. You wouldn't be able to, even if you wanted to. I want to live. They're going to kill you unless you kill 5,000 kids. You think you could do it? You decide. I don't believe in God, no morality, no nothing. Yeah, I'll kill him. Couldn't do it. Can't. It's wrong. It's wrong. Got to do the right thing. Wrong. If we're willing to die for something, should that be a priority? Yes. Okay, your top priority, you wake up in the morning, you got to remind yourself, I want to do the right thing. I want to be a good man. Now I will forget about it for the day. But at least, I know this is very important. Very important. I'm willing to die for it. Yeah. Okay, we can forget it for another day. Yeah? But at least tomorrow morning, review it. I want to do the right thing. I'm willing to die for it. Yeah? At least you kept it in sight. You can forget it for another day. But sooner or later, you might even do something about it. You might even ask yourself, what's the right thing? How do I know the right thing? I should take a little time to figure out what's the right thing. What is good? So all your top priorities, you should review every single day. Better, review it 10 times a day. In Judaism, we do this. This is part of the prayer book. To us, the right thing, the important thing is what? Do you know what the right thing, the important thing? What is for the Jew? Which?
Teach the world.
Which? Which? What do you think? What do you think before you die? What do you say? In the morning and at night, we repeat it. We walk in the mezuzah, we got it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Because that's it. That's the right thing. That's the greatest pleasure. That's the whole thing in one essence. And that's why before we die, we make one more effort to upgrade it. We're not giving the guy a drachma for the guy who ferries you across the Styx. That isn't the concept. But before you quit, before you're gone, one more shot at the essence. Try yourself. Now it takes a little understanding to get acquainted. You're talking about the essence of the essence of the essence. That's the idea. That's why the Almighty told us to do it. That's the way we look at it. But you make your top priorities and review it every day. Do you see the importance? Direct your life. Are we in agreement on that issue? That you should direct your life with your top priorities, not the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th. I'm going to college today. Why? Because I figure if I go enough days, I'll get a BA. Why? So then I'll be able to get to graduate school. Why? Then, if I go enough days, I'll be able to get my MA. Why? Well, then I'll get to PhD. Why? Well, then I'll be able to look for a job. Why? Then I'll be able to get a paycheck. Why? Then I'll be able to buy food. Why? I'll be able to eat. Why? I can live. Why? So that I can go to work. See, it's ridiculous. It's not. Live top priority today. What do you want? A good man? Stop being good today. That's what living is about. Very important. Make a list of your top priorities and live with it from now. Direct your life. Number 3, for appropriate times, at the right time, use your knowledge, direct your knowledge. You see, you know a lot about living, about talking to people. Did you ever notice? You know a lot about arguing. It's no use. It's a waste of time, losing friends. And what happens as soon as you start an argument? You forget the whole thing. That's not directing your knowledge. So use your appropriate knowledge at the appropriate time. So the same thing goes. You're going home, parents. What do you know about parents? You go through, zing, 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 zing. I do want to give them pleasure. It is a little difficult. They have certain expectations for me that I can't fulfill. But at the same time, they love me. Put it all together, organize it, right? Now walk in. So why do we need this? Why do we need this? So look, if it's worth gathering, wisdom is something you're gathering. Information about life is growing. If it's worth gathering, it's worth keeping. And it's worth using. You're picking up information. That's why you're going touring. If it's worth gathering, you're spending your time, you're spending your money, it's worth keeping it. Is that right? It doesn't cost you more time or more money, not much. If it's worth keeping, it's worth using. Use it sometime. Take it out. If you paid $50 for something, you use it. If you paid $100,000 in 10 years, you'd certainly use it. All right. You live 20 years, you know how much you cost your parents? You've gathered information about living. Use it. In order to do this, you got to organize it. You got to control it, and you got to direct it. I thank you.
You have been listening to the 48 Ways to Wisdom.